The vote was over. Captain Minji Kim sat in her chair and watched the numbers on the big screen. 847 votes said yes. Only 12 said no. 3 votes said nothing at all. The humans voted no, but it did not matter. The Galactic Council had made its choice. Minji looked around the huge chamber. It was beautiful in a strange way. The walls were made of crystal that changed colors. Right now they glowed orange and red. Those colors meant the aliens felt excited or maybe angry. Hundreds of different species sat in their seats. Some had fur, some had scales. Some looked like rocks with eyes. All of them were watching the screen. Next to Minji, Ambassador Hyun Park sat very still. His hands gripped the armrests of his chair. His jaw was tight. Minji knew he was angry, but he would not show it. Not here. Not in front of all these aliens who already thought humans were dangerous. Delegate Kira stood up. She was a Valkyrie, which meant she looked like a giant insect. Her body was covered in hard shells and she had 6 legs. When she talked, her mouth parts clicked together. To humans, it sounded scary. To other Valkyrie, it was normal. Kira's voice came through the translation device. Every delegate had one in their ear. It changed alien languages into words they could understand. "This is a great day for the council," Kira said. Her clicking sounds turned into clear words in Minji's ear. "Now we will be safe. No more will we fear the creatures that humans bring to our stations. No more will we see their wolves and cats and snakes in our peaceful places." Minji wanted to laugh, but she kept her face blank. Wolves, cats? The council was afraid of house pets. It seemed so silly. But she knew it was not really about pets. It was about fear. Fear of Earth. Fear of humans. Fear of anything different. The resolution had a long name. Resolution 4471. The title was Regulation of Dangerous Fauna in Shared Spaces. It said that every species must tell the council about any dangerous animals before bringing them to council stations. If someone broke this rule, they would be sent away. Their species would lose trading rights. It sounded fair, but Minji knew the truth. This law was made because of humans. Last month, a human diplomat brought her dog to a meeting. The dog was small and friendly. It wagged its tail and wanted to play, but a Valkyrie delegate saw it and screamed. The dog had teeth. It had eyes that pointed forward. To the Valkyrie, forward-facing eyes meant predator. Predator meant danger. Another time, a human child brought a hamster to school. The hamster lived in a small cage. It ate seeds and ran on a wheel. The other children loved it. But a lithoid teacher saw the hamster bite a carrot. The teacher reported it as a dangerous animal. A hamster. Dangerous. The council meeting ended. Delegates started leaving. They talked in their own languages. Some looked happy. Some looked worried. The human delegates stayed in their seats. Nobody spoke. What could they say? They had lost. Ambassador Hyun called a meeting. All the human diplomats came to a small room in the human sector of the station. It was a safe place to talk. The walls were thick. No one could hear them. 30 humans crowded into the room. Some sat, some stood. Everyone looked angry. "They want us to register our cats," someone shouted. "My cat sleeps 20 hours a day. How is that dangerous?" Another person stood up. "My daughter has a rabbit." "A rabbit? It eats lettuce. But now I have to fill out forms that say it is a threat to galactic peace. This is crazy." Ambassador Hyun raised his hand. The room got quiet. "I know this is hard," he said, "but we must follow the rules. If we don't, we lose everything we have built here. We will fill out the forms. We will register every animal. We will show them we can follow their laws even when those laws are stupid." Minji listened but said nothing. An idea was growing in her mind. It was a crazy idea. It might end her career, but it might also show the council how foolish they were being. She thought about her children back on Earth. Isol was 10 years old. Jinho was 7. They were good kids, smart, kind, well-behaved. They were also human. And humans, by any scientific measure, were apex predators. Humans could run for hours without stopping. Humans could throw things with deadly accuracy. Humans had forward-facing eyes for hunting. Humans had flat teeth for grinding and sharp teeth for tearing. Humans worked in groups to take down prey much larger than themselves. For millions of years, humans lived with saber-toothed cats and cave bears and dire wolves. Humans did not just survive, they won. They became the top predator on their planet. Then they did something even stranger. They made friends with wolves. They turned wolves into dogs. They rode on horses. They kept cats in their homes for fun. The meeting ended. People left slowly, still talking and complaining. Minji walked back to her small apartment in the human sector. She poured herself a drink and sat at her desk. On the desk was a photo. It showed Isul and Jinho playing in their backyard. Their dog Max was running beside them. Her ex-husband took that photo before she came to the station. She missed them. She missed Earth, but this was important work. Humans needed representatives in the council. Someone had to speak for Earth. Someone had to show these aliens that humans belonged here. Minji opened her computer and started writing a message to her ex-husband, Daiho. She told him about the new law. She told him about her idea. She asked him to do something that seemed strange. She needed the children to come to the station. Just for a few days. Just to help her prove a point. Then she filed a formal request. As a registered delegate, she had the right to speak to the council about new laws. She could ask for clarification. She set the date for 3 days from now. That would give Daiho time to bring the children. That would give her time to prepare. Minji looked at the photo again. Dangerous animals, she thought. The council wanted a list of dangerous animals. Well, she would give them exactly that. She would show them what Earth's most dangerous predator really looked like. She would show them 2 human children being normal kids. And she would make the council understand how stupid their fear really was. She smiled for the first time that day. This would either work brilliantly or destroy her career. Probably both. But it was worth it. Someone had to stand up. Someone had to say no to this fear. Someone had to show these aliens that humans were not monsters. They were just people trying to live in a big, scary galaxy, just like everyone else. Minji finished her drink and went to bed. In 3 days, the council would meet again. In 3 days, they would learn what it really meant to register dangerous fauna from Earth. In 3 days, everything would change. She fell asleep with a smile on her face, already imagining the looks on their faces when she walked into that chamber with Isul and Jinho by her side. The next morning, Minji went to see Dr. Jun Lee. He was a scientist who studied alien life. His office was full of books and screens showing pictures of creatures from different worlds. When Minji walked in, he looked up from his work and smiled. "Captain Kim," he said. "What brings you here?" He pushed his glasses up his nose. He always did that when he was nervous. Minji sat down across from him. "I need to understand something," she said. "Why are they so afraid of us? Why are they afraid of Earth animals?" Dr. Jun pulled up files on his computer. Images of alien worlds appeared on the screen. Most council species evolved very differently than humans, he explained. "Look at this. This is the Velkari homeworld. See no large predators. The biggest dangerous animal was the size of your hand. The Velkari became the top species without any real threats." He showed her more pictures. "The lithoids are made of silicon, not carbon like us. They never worried about being eaten. The Aquarians lived in calm oceans with simple food chains. Most council species had easy evolution. They did not have to fight to survive. Not like humans did." Dr. Jun pulled up pictures of Earth from long ago. Minji saw huge animals, saber-toothed cats with teeth as long as knives, cave bears bigger than cars, wolves that hunted in packs, giant mammoths with tusks that could crush a human with one hit. "This is what human ancestors faced every day," Dr. Jun said. "And humans did not just survive. They thrived. They hunted these animals. They turned wolves into dogs. They became the deadliest predator on the planet. To most aliens, that is terrifying," he continued. "They look at humans and see apex predators who play with other apex predators for fun. It is like watching someone juggle bombs and smile while doing it." Minji nodded slowly. She was beginning to understand. The council was not being mean. They were genuinely scared. That night, Minji got a call from Earth. It was 3 in the morning on the station, but she was still awake. Daiho's face appeared on her screen. He looked tired. Behind him, she could see their old house in Seoul, the house she left when she took this job. "I got your message," Daiho said. He did not sound happy. "You want me to bring the kids to the station?" "Minji, are you sure about this?" And she took a deep breath. "I know it sounds strange, but I need them, Daiho. I need to show the council something important, something they need to see. You are going to use our children to make a political point," he said. It was not a question. "Yes," Minji answered honestly. "But I am also showing them what humanity really is. These aliens think we are monsters. I want them to see Isil and Jinho. I want them to see human children being normal kids. Maybe then they will understand. Daeho was quiet for a moment. Then he sighed. I talked to the kids already. They are excited. They have wanted to visit the station for years. Just promise me one thing. Promise me you will keep them safe. I promise, Minji said. Commander Suki Han will be with them every moment. She is the best security officer we have. After the call ended, Minji went to the council compliance office. It was a clean white building. Velkari clerks worked at desks, filling out forms and checking documents. Everything was very organized, very precise, very bureaucratic. Minji walked up to one of the desks. A young Velkari clerk looked at her with compound eyes. Her name tag said Rixix. How can I help you? Rixix asked. Her mandibles clicked as she spoke. Minji handed her a data pad. I am here to register dangerous fauna as required by Resolution 4471. Rixix took the pad and scanned it. Her mandibles stopped clicking. She read it again. Then she looked at Minji with what might have been confusion. This says you are registering 2 subjects. But these are not animals. These are children. Human children. This must be a mistake. No mistake, Minji said calmly. Resolution 4471 requires me to register any dangerous animals I bring to council spaces. I am bringing my children. Humans are apex predators. Therefore, I am registering them as dangerous fauna. I am following the law exactly as written. Rixix's mandibles started clicking very fast. That meant she was upset or confused. But humans are sapient. They are council members. They are people. Yes, Minji agreed. But the resolution does not say sapient species are excluded. It just says dangerous animals. The council was very worried about Earth fauna, so I am being very careful. I am registering the most dangerous predators from Earth. My cubs, my children. Rixix did not know what to do. This had never happened before. She looked at her supervisor. Her supervisor looked at another supervisor. Soon, several Velkari were gathered around Minji's datapad, clicking and gesturing. But the forms were filled out correctly. The law was clear. They had to accept the registration. We will process this, Rixix finally said. She stamped the forms with official marks. Your dangerous fauna are now registered. Minji thanked her politely and left. Behind her, she could hear the Velkari clicking frantically. Word of this would spread fast. That evening, Commander Suki Han came to Minji's apartment. She was carrying a bottle of soju, a Korean alcohol. Suki was former Special Forces. She was tough and smart. She was also grinning like this was the funniest thing she had ever heard. You did it, Suki said. You actually did it. The whole human sector is talking about you. You are a hero. They poured drinks and sat together. I might have just ended my career, Minji said. Suki shook her head. Or you might have just saved it. These aliens need to see how ridiculous they are being. You are showing them. She raised her glass. To dangerous children and their crazy mother. They drank together. Suki told her the security plans. When your kids arrive, I will have a full team on them. We will make it look like a cultural education tour. Guards disguised as guides. They will be safe. I promise. Minji felt relieved. If anyone could protect her children, it was Suki. 2 days later, a transport ship from Earth docked at the station. Minji was waiting at the docking port. Her heart was beating fast. She had not seen her children in 6 months. When the doors opened, they ran to her. Mom, Isil shouted. She hugged Minji tight. Jinho crashed into them, both laughing. Daeho followed behind them. He looked around the station with wide eyes. This was his first time in space. So this is where you work, he said. Minji nodded. Welcome to Station Harmony 7. Welcome to the Galactic Council. She knelt down to look at her children. Are you ready for an adventure? Yes, they both shouted. Commander Suki appeared with her security team. To anyone watching, they looked like friendly tour guides. Suki smiled at the children. Hello, dangerous predators. Ready to see the station? Jinho giggled. He thought it was a game. Isil looked more serious. She was older. She understood this was important, even if she did not know exactly why. Minji watched her children walk away with their guards. Tomorrow she would take them to the council. Tomorrow the real show would begin. Tomorrow the galaxy would learn what a human child really looked like. And maybe, just maybe, they would realize their fear was foolish. She hoped so. She really hoped so. The council chamber was completely full. Every seat had a delegate. Every gallery had observers watching. Word had spread about Minji's unusual registration. Everyone wanted to see what would happen. The crystal walls glowed blue and purple. Those colors meant curiosity and uncertainty. Minji walked through the main doors. She walked slowly with confidence. Behind her, holding hands, were Isul and Jinho. They wore normal Earth clothes. Jeans and t-shirts. Comfortable shoes. They looked around with big eyes. They had never seen so many different aliens in one place. The chamber went silent. Hundreds of aliens stared at the two small humans. Some delegates leaned forward. Some leaned back. A few looked scared. Most looked confused. What was Captain Kim doing? Why did she bring children to a council session? Ambassador Hyun Park watched from the human delegation box. His hands gripped the railing. He had tried to stop Minji from doing this. He told her it was career suicide. But now, watching her walk with such confidence, he felt something else. Pride. She was brave. Maybe crazy, but definitely brave. High Counselor Thrank sat in his special seat at the center of the chamber. He was a lithoid, ancient and wise. His body looked like a pile of smooth stones that somehow moved and thought. He activated his speaking crystal. Captain Kim, you have requested this assembly. You may proceed. Minji stood at the speaking platform. Isul and Jinho stood beside her. She activated a holographic display. Images of Earth appeared floating in the air. Honored delegates, she began. I am here to clarify my compliance with Resolution 4471. I have registered dangerous fauna from my homeworld as required by law. She gestured to her children. These are my offspring. Isul is 10 years old. Jinho is 7 years old. They are specimens of Homo sapiens juvenile stage. According to your own criteria in Resolution 4471, they qualify as dangerous fauna. A wave of clicking, buzzing, and whistling sounds filled the chamber. Aliens were shocked. Some were confused. Some were angry. Minji brought up scientific data on the holographic display. Let me explain why they meet your definition of dangerous. A 10-year-old human has a bite force of 200 newtons, strong enough to sever a finger. They can run 20 kilometers per hour for extended periods. That is better endurance than most council species have as adults. More data appeared. Pictures of human anatomy. Charts showing human capabilities. Humans have forward-facing eyes for tracking prey. We have hands that can throw objects with deadly accuracy. We can sweat, which allows us to chase prey until it dies of exhaustion. We are pack hunters with natural understanding of tactics and cooperation. Delegate Kira jumped up from her seat. Her mandibles clicked angrily. This is absurd. These are children. They are sapient beings, not animals. This is a mockery of council law. Minji kept her face calm. Is it, Delegate Kira? Resolution 4471 makes no distinction between sapient and non-sapient dangerous fauna. It simply requires registration of anything that could pose a threat. By the standards this council established, my children are among the most dangerous predators on this station. You wrote this law because you fear Earth animals, Minji continued. You fear our dogs and cats and hamsters. But you forgot something important. Humans are Earth animals too. We are the apex predator of our world. If you want to register dangerous Earth fauna, you must start with us. Minji looked at Isul. Please show them the puzzle we practiced. Isul nodded. She walked to a table where a complex puzzle waited. It was the kind of puzzle used to test intelligence in alien species. Isul's hands moved quickly. She picked up pieces, rotated them, fit them together. In less than 2 minutes, she solved it. Observe the rapid information processing, Minji said in a clinical voice. Note the fine motor control and tool manipulation. This is a juvenile specimen not yet fully developed. Adult humans are significantly more capable. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. They were beginning to understand her point. Now watch this, Minji said. She gave Isul and Jinho a simple task. They had to move some objects from one table to another, but the objects were heavy for children. Immediately, without speaking, Isul and Jinho started working together. Isul lifted one end. Jinho lifted the other. They moved in sync, communicating with just looks and small gestures. Pack hunting instincts, Minji narrated. Nonverbal communication between pack members. The juvenile male instinctively protects his sibling while completing the objective. These are inherited behaviors from millions of years of persistence hunting. This is what humans do naturally from childhood. The gallery was completely silent now. Many delegates looked uncomfortable. Some of the more nervous species had moved back in their seats. One delegate, an Aquarian named Murex, made a sound like bubbling water. That was Aquarian laughter. Captain Kim has made her point brilliantly, Murex said. By our own definitions, we have classified our colleagues as dangerous beasts. Minji activated another holographic display. This time it showed videos from Earth. Human children playing with dogs. Humans swimming with dolphins. Humans walking beside elephants. Humans nursing injured wolves back to health. Humans raising baby lions that lost their mothers. Image after image of humans living with animals that could easily kill them. These are the dangerous animals of Earth, Minji said quietly. Species that could kill us without effort. Yet we coexist. We befriend them. We protect them. The wolf became our companion thousands of years ago. The horse carried us across continents. Even now, in the age of space travel, humans share their homes with creatures descended from apex predators. She looked around the chamber, making eye contact with as many delegates as she could. We are not afraid of dangerous things, honored delegates. We learn to live with them. We learn to understand them. We learned that something can be dangerous and still be beautiful, still be worth protecting, still be worthy of love. Minji put her hands on her children's shoulders. You look at my offspring and see dangerous predators. I look at them and see young humans learning to navigate a complex universe. Yes, they have the capacity for violence. All humans do. All living things do. But they also have the capacity for compassion, creativity, cooperation, and understanding. That is what makes us human. That is what you failed to see when you passed Resolution 4471, she continued. You saw only the danger. You saw only the teeth and claws and predatory instincts. You did not see the whole picture. You did not see that we are people just like you. Different, yes. Dangerous, perhaps. But still people. Still worthy of being treated as colleagues, not as threats to be registered and controlled. The chamber was so quiet you could hear the ventilation systems. Jinho looked up at his mother, confused by all the serious faces. Isil squeezed his hand. She understood better. This was important. This was why Mom brought them all this way. High Counselor Thranks finally spoke. The Council requires time to deliberate on this interpretation of Resolution 4471. We will recess for 48 hours. He struck his crystal with a sound like ringing bells. This session is concluded. Delegates started leaving. Many were talking loudly in their own languages. Minji took her children's hands and walked toward the exit. Ambassador Hyun Park caught her eye as she passed. He gave her a small nod. That nod said everything. Well done, I am proud of you. That was brave. But Delegate Kira watched them leave with hard eyes. Her mandibles clicked in anger. This was not over. Minji had embarrassed the council. She had exposed their fear as foolishness. Kira would not forget that. She would not forgive it. The fight had only just begun. The council met again in emergency session 2 days later. The chamber was even more crowded than before. Everyone wanted to see what would happen next. The crystal walls glowed red and orange. Anger and excitement filled the air. Delegate Kira was the first to speak. She stood at her platform, her 6 legs planted firmly. Captain Kim's display was nothing but theater, she declared. She twisted the intent of Resolution 4471 to make us look foolish. She mocked this council. She used her own children as props in a political game. This cannot stand. Another delegate stood up. His name was Vren, a lithoid conservative. I agree with Delegate Kira. If we allow individuals to misinterpret our laws on purpose, we destroy the foundation of council authority. Captain Kim should be censured. Resolution 4471 should be clarified to exclude sapient species. The original protections against real threats should remain. But Delegate Murex rose to defend Minji. His aquatic body rippled in his specialized suit. Respectfully, I disagree. Captain Kim exposed a flaw in our reasoning, not our law. We wrote Resolution 4471 because we were afraid. Afraid of Earth, afraid of humans, afraid of species that evolved differently than we did. Captain Kim's children are no more dangerous than any of our own offspring. She showed us that our fear made us write foolish laws. The debate continued for hours. Some delegates wanted to punish Minji. Some wanted to change the law. Some wanted to pretend nothing happened. The council was split in 3 different directions. Nobody could agree. While the council argued, a new human arrived on the station. Senator Boram Choi came from Earth's unified government. She was a politician, smart and careful. She came to decide if Earth should support Minji or throw her away to save face. Everything depended on what she decided. Senator Choi requested a private meeting with Minji. They met in a secure diplomatic room. The senator sat down and looked at Minji with hard eyes. Captain Kim, Earth's government is divided about you. Some people think you are a hero. Some people think you are a problem. I came here to decide which one is true. Minji met her gaze without flinching. With respect, Senator, I did not do this for Earth's political convenience. I did it because Resolution 4471 was an insult to everything humanity has achieved. If the government wants to abandon me to save face, that is their choice. But I will not apologize for showing the council what their fear looks like. Senator Choi studied her for a long moment. Then slowly she smiled. Good. That is the answer I hoped for. Earth will back you publicly. But understand something, Captain. This is not just about one regulation anymore. You started a conversation about humanity's place in the council. That conversation will have consequences. Not all of them will be pleasant. Meanwhile, the media was having a field day. A human journalist named Hana Song broadcast special reports from the station. Her reports included interviews with different species about their reactions. The responses showed deep cultural divides that nobody had talked about before. A Velkari merchant told Hana, "I do not understand why humans would want to live with predators. It seems like inviting death into your home." An Aquarian scientist had a different view. Perhaps the resolution was necessary, but Captain Kim showed us we wrote it too hastily. We let fear guide policy instead of reason. Hana also interviewed other humans on the station. The responses surprised many people. Not all humans supported Minji. Some worried she had made things worse. One diplomat spoke anonymously. She made her point, yes, but at what cost? We worked for decades to build trust. Now aliens look at us like we are ticking bombs. In their temporary quarters, Isul and Jinho tried to understand what was happening. Isul watched the news reports with a worried face. She was beginning to grasp the seriousness of the situation. "Mom," she asked one evening, "do they really think we are dangerous? Do they think all humans are scary?" Minji sat with her daughter and chose her words carefully. "Some of them do, yes. But not because of anything you did. They are afraid of what humans represent. Change, unpredictability, strength they do not understand. What I wanted to show them is that their fear makes them see danger where there is just life. Just people being people." Jinho, being younger, had different concerns. "Can we go see the alien zoo? Commander Suki said there are animals from other worlds." His innocent enthusiasm made Minji smile. This was why she did all this, so that human children could explore the stars without being feared for simply existing. That night, Ambassador Hyun Park hosted an unofficial dinner party in the human sector. It was not a formal meeting. That would require documentation and rules, but it was attended by sympathetic delegates who wanted to discuss the situation in private. Delegate Murex came, along with several younger council members who saw an opportunity for reform. Over food and drinks, they talked honestly. Murex laid out the situation. Resolution 4471 will be modified. That is inevitable now. The question is how. Do we simply add an exception for sapient species and preserve the fear-based framework? Or do we use this moment to completely rethink how the council addresses cultural differences? A young lithoid delegate named Kess spoke up. She was part of a new generation of council members. "I vote for complete revision. My generation does not share our elders' fear of humanity. We see humans as colleagues, friends, partners. If anything, we envy your ability to coexist with danger. It speaks to a mental resilience we lack." This surprised the humans present. It was the first time any council member had expressed admiration instead of fear. Minji felt a spark of hope. Maybe this would work. Maybe they could change things for real, but not everyone felt hopeful. In another part of the station, Delegate Kira held her own meetings. She gathered conservative delegates who believed the council was becoming too soft, too willing to accommodate human differences. "We cannot let this stand," she told them. "If we back down now, humans will walk all over us. We must show strength." Her faction was smaller than the reformers, but they were loud. They were organized. and they had influence with many older delegates who remembered when the council was more cautious, more traditional. Before humans showed up and started changing everything, the council announced they would vote on new proposals in 1 week. 3 different options were being prepared. One would simply clarify Resolution 4471 to exclude sapient species. One would repeal the resolution completely. And one would create a whole new framework for addressing cross-species cultural integration. Minji realized her demonstration had accomplished more than she intended. It sparked a bigger conversation about what the Galactic Council truly stood for. Were they a community of equals learning to live together? Or were they a hierarchy where different meant dangerous and dangerous meant controlled? But success brought danger. Delegate Kira and her faction were working behind the scenes. They held private meetings. They made deals. They promised favors, all to ensure that whatever happened, human influence would be contained. They would not let Earth gain more power in the Council. Commander Suki increased security around Minji and her children. Not because anyone threatened violence. Council members did not do that. But there were other ways to hurt people. Political pressure, social isolation, economic sanctions. Suki wanted to be ready for anything. 1 week until the vote. 7 days to convince enough delegates that change was necessary. 7 days to prove that humans belonged in the council as equals, not as dangerous animals that needed to be registered and watched. Minji had started something big. Now she had to see it through to the end. She looked at her children sleeping in their beds. They looked peaceful, innocent, completely unaware of the political storm raging around them. Good, she thought. Let them be children. Let them sleep peacefully. She would fight this battle so they could grow up in a galaxy that was less afraid. A galaxy that saw humans as people, not predators. A galaxy worth living in. The day before the vote, High Counselor Thranks did something unusual. He requested a private meeting with Minji. This almost never happened. The High Counselor was supposed to be neutral. He mediated disputes but did not take sides. Still, Minji went to his chambers. The room was made of crystal, just like Thranks himself. The walls shifted colors as emotions changed. Right now they were calm blue and green. Thranks sat in the center, his rocky form perfectly still. "Captain Kim," he said. His voice sounded like stones rolling down a mountain. "I have mediated council disputes for 3 of your human centuries. I have never seen anything quite like your demonstration." "Was it effective, High Counselor?" Minji asked. The crystal walls rippled with soft purple light. That was amusement. "It was many things," Thranks replied. "Clever, provocative, legally unassailable, and most importantly honest. You showed us something true about humanity that we failed to see, or perhaps refused to see." He paused, his many eyes reflecting the crystal light. "I cannot vote. My role is mediation. But I can tell you this. Tomorrow's vote will define the Council's relationship with humanity for generations. Choose your final words carefully." Minji understood. He was telling her this was her last chance to influence the outcome. The next day, the council chamber was arranged for formal debate. 3 proposals sat on display for everyone to see. Delegate Kira presented the first one. "Proposal 1 is simple," she said. "We acknowledge Captain Kim's creative interpretation. This amendment excludes sapient species from Resolution 4471, while maintaining all other safety provisions. This resolves the ambiguity while preserving necessary protections." Ambassador Hyun Park presented the second proposal. Proposal 2 calls for complete repeal of Resolution 4471 with no replacement. The resolution was prejudice disguised as policy. The appropriate response is to eliminate it entirely. We should trust in existing station regulations and mutual respect. His words were strong, but many conservative delegates looked uncomfortable. Finally, Delegate Murex presented the third option. Proposal 3 replaces Resolution 4471 with a comprehensive cultural integration framework. Rather than legislating fear, let us legislate understanding. This framework provides education, dialogue, and voluntary safety guidelines, not mandatory registration of our colleagues' pets and children. The debate began. Delegates argued back and forth. Some wanted to maintain control. Some wanted complete freedom. Some wanted a middle path. Hours passed. The crystal walls shifted through every color. Red anger, blue uncertainty, purple amusement, orange excitement, green hope. The chamber was a swirl of emotion. Then something unexpected happened. An ancient Aquarian named Elder Torvik stood up. He rarely spoke anymore. He was so old that most delegates had never heard his voice. The chamber immediately fell silent. When Torvik spoke, everyone listened. "I have lived long enough to see humanity arrive at our council," Torvik said. His voice was like water flowing over stones, soft but unstoppable. "I remember the fear when they first applied for membership. They were so young, so aggressive, so unpredictable by our standards. I voted against their admission. I will admit this now, though it shames me. The chamber was absolutely silent. Even the translation devices seemed to hold their breath. I believed they would bring chaos," Torvik continued. "And they have. But not the chaos I feared. They brought the chaos of change, of energy, of different perspectives." Captain Kim's demonstration was uncomfortable because it held up a mirror to our prejudice. "We saw ourselves as wise elders guiding dangerous children," he said. "She showed us that we were simply fearful of the different. I support Proposal 3, not because it benefits humanity specifically, but because it benefits all of us. The next species to join the council should not face the same presumption of danger. We must do better." His endorsement changed everything. Several undecided delegates immediately moved toward Proposal 3. Young Delegate Kess stood and added her voice. "Elder Torvik is right. My generation wants a council based on understanding, not fear. We vote for Proposal 3. More young delegates stood and agreed. During a brief recess, something else happened that tipped the balance. Isul and Jinho were in the public gallery with Commander Suki. They watched the proceedings with serious faces. During the break, Rixix, the Velkari clerk who had processed their registration forms, approached them nervously. "Excuse me," Rixix said. Her mandibles clicked softly. "May I speak with you?" Commander Suki tensed, but Isul nodded politely. "Of course." Rixix seemed surprised by the courtesy. "I wanted to apologize. When your mother brought those forms to me, I thought she was mocking us, but she was not. She was showing us how our fear makes us foolish. I am sorry." Jinho, with the honesty of a 7-year-old, asked, "Were you scared of us?" Rixix thought carefully. "Yes, I was. But not anymore. You are simply children, just as my own hatchlings are simply children. Thank you for teaching me this." She bowed in the Velkari way and walked back to her seat. Dozens of delegates witnessed this moment. The image of a Velkari apologizing to human children spread through the chamber faster than light. It became a powerful counterpoint to all the fear and anger. Here was proof that understanding was possible. That change could happen. That different did not have to mean dangerous. The council reconvened for the final vote. High Counselor Thranks called for order. The holographic display showed all 3 proposals. Each delegate registered their choice through their personal interface. The voting was silent but intense. Everyone knew this moment mattered. The results appeared on the screen. Proposal 1 received 287 votes. Proposal 2 received 156 votes. Proposal 3 received 419 votes. A clear majority. The Cultural Integration Framework passed. Resolution 4471 was replaced with a system based on education and understanding, not fear and registration. The chamber erupted. Some delegates cheered. Some sat in shocked silence. Some looked angry. The crystal walls blazed with every color at once, reflecting the storm of emotions. Minji felt Ambassador Hyun Park's hand on her shoulder. He was smiling. "You did it," he said simply. "You actually did it." Delegate Kira's expression was hard as stone, but she acknowledged the outcome with a formal bow. She had lost, and she knew it. Delegate Murex caught Minji's eye across the chamber and raised a webbed hand in salute. Young Delegate Kess approached the human delegation and offered a formal lithoid greeting, palm to chest, a sign of respect between equals. That evening, Minji returned to her quarters. Her children were already asleep, exhausted from the long day. She sat in the darkness and let herself feel everything: relief, pride, fear about what came next, exhaustion, hope. A message came from Earth. From Deho. "I saw the vote. The kids did great. You did great. Whatever happens next, you changed something important today. Come home when you can." But Minji knew she could not go home yet. The cultural integration framework would need people to implement it, to oversee it, to make sure it actually worked. She had been offered a position on the new Cross-Species Understanding Committee. It meant more time away from Earth, more time away from her family, but it also meant ensuring her work created real, lasting change. 6 months later, Station Harmony 7 looked different, not physically. The changes were subtler than that. Human children attended school alongside Velkari hatchlings. Species shared their evolutionary histories in educational programs. The station's Xenobiology Museum featured a new exhibit on Earth fauna, designed to educate rather than frighten. Minji walked through the central plaza with Delegate Kess discussing the next phase of implementation. They passed a group of children playing together. Different species, different biologies, different evolutionary paths, but all just kids being kids. A Velkari parent watched nervously at first, then relaxed as they saw the children simply playing. "Your demonstration changed more than policy," Kess observed. "It changed perspective. My people are reassessing many assumptions about other species, not just humans." Minji smiled. "That was always the point. Fear makes us see monsters where there are only neighbors. Understanding is harder than fear, but it builds better futures." Near the council chamber, a new plaque had been installed. It commemorated the cultural integration framework. The plaque included a quote from Minji's presentation: "We are not afraid of dangerous things. We learned to live with them." Below it, smaller text read, "May we all learn to live with each other." The story had become part of diplomatic lore. New human arrivals heard about Captain Kim and her children, about the demonstration that changed everything, about how sometimes the most powerful weapon against prejudice is not argument, but truth presented with perfect clarity, about how 2 children became symbols of hope for a more understanding galaxy. On Earth, Daiho showed his friends the latest message from the station. Isul and Jinho waved from the screen, proudly displaying their certificates from the first cross-species youth education program. They had made friends from 6 different worlds. They spoke 3 alien languages. They had become minor celebrities across council space, known as the well-behaved, dangerous animals who taught the galaxy to be less afraid. And in her quarters, on Station Harmony 7, Minji looked at the photograph on her desk. Her children playing with their dog. Dangerous animals, someone had once called them. "Well-behaved," she had replied. Both statements were true. Humans were dangerous. Humans were well-behaved. Humans were complex and contradictory and thoroughly themselves. And finally, after all this time, the Galactic Council was beginning to understand that being different did not mean being wrong. It just meant being human.